Hello world, welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing this evening? Well, I hope. Okay, so last time, let me just switch over here to my coding screen. Alright, let's just do a quick build to make sure everything is still looking good. You remember last time we set up our Visual Studio Code environment. We had been using Sublime Text, but the more I use Visual Studio Code, the more I am enjoying it. I like that I can. I've set up a build task and a debugging task so that I can build right from within VS Code or kick off a build, kick off my build script, and then the key feature is it's got built-in integration with the debugger, so I can hit like F5 and it will execute my build task, it will launch the app, and then it will attach the debugger. So I can put breakpoints in and hit breakpoints and examine variables, do all that excellent stuff right from within VS Code. So let's do that right now. So here's the game, its current state. If you remember last time, we were working on our inventory screen, inventory overlay. So let's go find some stuff to pick up. So there's a shield, we'll get it. And then a sword. Okay, and now we can hit I to bring up our inventory overlay. And we added the ability to interact with this screen now. So now I can use the up and down arrows to highlight the row that I want, and then I can hit E to hit equip or unequip. So we can toggle that, and we have this concept of slots. So a sword fills your hand slot, shield will fill your arm slot, and you can only have one piece of equipment equipped in each slot. So if we picked up something else that you would have in your hand, like a mace or a dagger or something, you would not be able to have both the sword and the dagger equipped. So that's where we kind of left off last time. There's a couple things that I'd like to work on this evening. Basically involving finishing out our inventory overlay, kind of cleaning up or beautifying some stuff before we move on to our next big piece of work, which is going to be saving our world state to a file so that we can, come back. We can save a game and then come back to it later on. So this is kind of where we are right now. Quit right now. So I've got a to-do list here that I'd like to start working on. A couple beautification things. So changing the text, the foreground text for the highlight for equipped items. So that there's a bit more of a visual indicator that something's equipped. We've got that character in the first column that's either a period for something that's unequipped or an asterisk for equipped items, but I'd like to make it a little bit clearer what's equipped and what's not. So we're going to go... Oh, that reminds me, there's one more thing I want to do that's Visual Studio Code config related. And this was something that I loved about Sublime Text, and I'm super psyched. They just in the March update for Visual Studio Code, they added this feature. So it's under Editor. Minimap. Okay. So if you remember when we were using Sublime Text, there was this this area that was to the right left-hand side of a code pane, and it was kind of like a 1,000-foot view of the code file. It was called the minimap, and so they now have that in VS Code, but by default it's disabled, so we are going to turn it on. And so you can see, as soon as I turned it on, now it appears over to the right here, and so you can get, like for screening game, you can see here's a 10,000-foot view of our code, and you can kind of see the shape of the code, and you can also, the nice thing about it is you can click over here and jump to, for some of the larger code files, you can jump easier. So it's a nice thing to have. I like to have it, so turned it on. All right, so we're gonna do something about that foreground text in the inventory view. So right now we have the concept of the highlighted row where we're changing the foreground and background colors there, but I also want to draw the foreground text differently when something's equipped. So maybe when something's highlighted, we'll always have that white text. But when something is not the currently highlighted row, we can say if it's equipped, and we'll draw it in one color, otherwise draw it in. So let's copy this guy. And what color should we have our equipped item? Some sort of green, probably. So let's just do this color. Get some. Pale green, maybe. So that kind of works. Just looking at. We can kind of tighten up the colors and stuff at a later date, but I just want something that's. Alright. Good, we got some stuff right here. Get inventory. Alright, so let's equip this. And then that's a little too light. We actually need like a dark green, I guess, because it's on a light background. Maybe that's a great color for when it is a highlighted row. Because I think we should probably highlight it in both situations. So let's do this. So when we have highlighted equipped item, we'll do that. And then, let's see, green, GB, our green needs to be a lot darker. So let's do 20. I'm told I'll two items, because gotta go through the goblin to get there. Oh, out of the way, kobold. Okay, get equip. So now it's light. That's more yellow. I guess we gotta make it darker across the board. Okay. Let's look up a good dark green. For a dark green. Oh, I changed the wrong component. That's why it's weird. RGB, not RBG, dude. Come on. It's not late enough in the evening to be that brain dead. Let's try this. Need stuff. There we go. Well, that's not green at all. Alright. Stop trying to guess at this stuff and just grab a dark green color off the web. Like, yeah, that one. Okay, that looks good. Okay, you see how they're both arm slots, so when I pick up and equip one shield, it'll unequip the other automatically. Okay. Now the other thing, one of the other things I wanted to do on this view was allow the user to hit the space bar to toggle equip and unequip. So I don't think we have anything mapped to spacebar yet. Just double check what. The key code is for the spacebar. It's just SDLK space. But we only want to handle this when we have an inventory view. So it's essentially this. We'll just do this. Alright, what else do we want to do to this screen? We would like to, add a drop command, because right now we don't have any way to drop items. And we do have a weight limit that we're restricting the player how much they can carry, so to not allow them to drop something in order to pick something else up would be cruel. So we're going to have the D key is going to drop. I forgot to break. Oh, that's very bad. And again, we're only going to handle this right now if the inventory view is showing. We'll borrow this code, but instead of... Oops, took a little too much. Instead of toggling the equipment, we are going to want item drop. So we'll jump over to our game code and actually we can borrow some of this stuff. Oh, let's see. Alright, item toggle, item get weight carried. Say item drop. So what do we do in this case? When it's basically the opposite of item get. So down here we have our item get. When we pick something up, we remove the position component. Let's see. Find out what position is. We get the equipment at that position. And then, it's the visibility that we get rid of? No. Use visibility to create our message. Where do we remove? We added to the player's carried items. Oh, okay. So we get rid of the position. That's right, the position component for the item. So what we want to do here is we want to get the position of the player and then create a position component for that location and then assign it to the game object that we were handed. Which will basically place it back into the world. And we will remove it from the carried items list, and then do our weight calculations as well. Basically determine how much the player's carrying and, subtract the weight of the item that was dropped. So... let's get the player. We're going to still need the player position. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a position component to represent. Basically want a copy of this one. So let's just write some comments in here so we don't forget any of the steps. So let's see. Determine position of dropped item, and then drop the item by assigning position and removing carried items, and do weight calculations. Display a message. I feel like we might want to check and make sure that there's not already an item at that position, because that could be problematic if we have like a pile of items. I don't think it would break the code, because the get code would just, you know, pick the first piece of equipment that it sees. But it could be kind of ugly. You would draw characters on top of each other, and it would look, you know, not very pleasing aesthetically. So we might want to prevent it from that situation.
Rewind to before I changed, started acting strange, had my life in my own hand. Meanwhile, I was wasting time, thinking things were fine, but you had other plans.
So let's
Worthless lies, it was wrong, and now I know. Don't think that I won't try, this is not goodbye.
we'll also get check to see, you know, can be dropped. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop this element. How's everyone doing this evening? Alright, we've got our list iteration loop here. So what we're going to do is we're going to check and see if there's any other equipment at this spot. Because if there's a creature there or something like that, we can still drop it in that spot. I just don't want it to share it with other equipment. So we'll do a get do LE data comp.
All my life I've been pushed around, always lost, not found, but I didn't realize. Like a giant standing in my way, leading me astray. Now it's time for
What I should be doing is this. So what I need to do is if there is a game object at that position and that object has an equipment component, meaning that it's equipment, I don't want to allow the item drop. So if, let's have a bool here, bool can be dropped, set it to, we'll set it to true. We'll assume that it can be dropped, but if equipment is not equal to null, meaning that we have a piece of equipment in that position already, then can be dropped is equal to false, and then we'll break out of our loop. So then the rest of it is predicated on the fact that we can... Why am I not getting autocomplete on this? Come on. The can be dropped. If can be dropped. Let's see. It's been a while since I created a component, so scratch. So let's see where. Okay, so we're malloking it. And we can add it to the. Wall add, so there's, that's what it is, right? We just create the struct. So in this case, we want it to be our item ID, and then we get player position. I just want to make sure that, let's check our layer. Make sure that's the right. Floor is on the ground. Item add. Layer equals layer. Pass in the layer. Dude. Mid. Alright, so by assigning the position component... Hey Gun Games, how's it going this evening? Hope you're well. So by assigning the item a position component, we are now placing it back into our world. Because our renderer will come through and basically look at everything that has visibility, and then it will see if it has a position, and if so, it will render it on that position of the map. So we now need to remove it from our carried items list, and you can see that we're adding it to that list. Carried items. So we're going to need to remove it. And we have a fine. Let's see, remove element with data. That's what we want. So it takes the list and a pointer to our data. So it will remove. It removes the element from the list. It does not free up the data, so that'll be on us. But we don't want to free up the data because so I've forgotten it already. List remove element data. Carried items, I believe. Yep. And then we need to do our weight calculations. Right, we just want to remove the memory and stuff associated with keeping that item in the list. We don't want to free up the item's memory itself because we're still using that item. So the next thing to do is subtract that item's weight from our carried weight. Weight is part of the equipment property, or the equipment component. And then we've got a I think carried weight is. What do we? We've got a global. Don't we? Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't have a global for weight carried. We have carried items and max weight allowed. We don't have. Oh, so we don't need to subtract it because when we get an item, we do a weight calculation to see if we're carrying too much by looping through the carried list. So the fact that we're removing it from the carried list is good enough. Then our next weight calculation will be correct. Alright, have fun, man. Civ 6. Awesome. Have fun. Alright, so we're going to remove the carried items. We don't need to do weight calculations. But we should display a message to the player. And we should also display a message to the player if item can't be dropped. I need to add a nice string routine that simplifies this a bit. Can't drop here. I'll make this kind of a red message because can't drop it. Can't drop this. Dropped the blah. And we will do, I need, the name of the object is on its visibility component, so I need to grab that. Get game component. Now we've got our item, and then we want comp visibility, I believe. Alright, is that gonna build for me? Looks like it. What are these tabs do? Problems, debug console. Looks reasonable, okay. Alright, let's see. Let's see if we can drop stuff. Leave me alone, kobolds. Leave me. Okay. Wow, look at all these beasties. Alright, let's equip something. And then I'm gonna walk over here and maybe drop something. Oh, I also wanted to try the spacebar, right? Okay, so spacebar equips and toggles and does all that stuff. So now I'm gonna drop this. Alright, so it says I dropped the sword, it took it out of the inventory, I'm going to equip this one, and then when I, there should be a sword underneath me, and there it is. And there it is. Okay. Now can I pick that thing back up? That's the next. There's a sword here, get it, picked up the sword, it's not there anymore, and now I've got two swords in my hands, or two swords in my inventory, so it appears that that worked. So that's good. Slice some stuff. Uh-oh. What happened here? My attack is minus 15? What the crap? What's going on there? So I unequip it. I'm not getting the bonus when I'm equipping it. What? Well, that's very odd. Let's fix that. Negative 30 to hit. That's not good. So that would be an item equip. Toggle equip. Okay, so apply the effects of equipping that item. We're doing our to hit modifiers. And then when we're unequipping, nothing's jumping out at me yet. Unequipping the item, you subtract the modifiers. One thing I realized with our drop, though, is we're going to want to make sure that if the item is equipped, we unequip it. If that could be part of the problem. Let's add that in while I'm thinking about it. Drop can be dropped. Then drop the item, remove it from the carried items. It's just item toggle. Is it what it's item toggle equip? Yep. Let's Alright, we may come back and put a breakpoint in this. Let's see what's going on here. What do we got? Let's have it. Yep. 1199. Oh. I don't have an equipment pointer to our object. That's easily enough. Fixed easily enough. Equipment. There's still problems. What? Different basic types. Item toggle equip. What does it take? Game object. Oh, okay, so this is the... Alright. It doesn't know about that function because let's just do
these words said to me, yeah. Stop my heart barely beating, and now I'm stuck on repeat. I can't sleep through this madness. It's madness. Tame the fire, suffer to live in the ashes.
find... So let's equip this and see if we get our shield bonus. Yeah, we do. Unequip, yes. So that appears to work. Let's equip this and drop it. Dropped it, okay, so that it was modified and dropped and all that good stuff. So what is it about the sword that... Find some swords. Get. Alright, equip. Alright, my bonus is 5. That's right. Unequip, 0. Equip. Equip. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that there were 2 of them. Let's find another sword, toggle between them. Alright, equip. Ah, so we didn't get it. We didn't get our bonus? What? Because there's 2 in the list? We're not getting our bonus for either, so let's put a breakpoint. Alright, I'm putting a breakpoint in item toggle equip, and we're gonna trigger that. Alright, so, I don't know, can you guys see this? No, I gotta switch this with OBS. This code should be in front of... We'll just hide the game temporarily. Okay. So, here we are. Equipment is not null. Is equipped is false. Right? So we're gonna step into that. We toggle is equipped. We get the player's combat stats. Those look correct. Well, our attack modifier is wrong, but that's what we're expecting, the wrongness. Looks like our dodge modifier is off too. So if it's equipped, our attack modifier is 5, so it should be player combat, which is attack modifier, which is -10, plus equal to this 5. Let's run through these. And so now it properly applied the attack modifier. Must be taking it out somewhere. If list item data is not the item, wait a minute. When I'm looping through the list and unequipping any other items that may have been equipped in that slot, I don't actually check and see if it's currently equipped. I just set the equip to false, which is the problem, because it'll basically subtract every other thing that matches the slot. So what I need to do is I need to say if the slot is the same and it's equipped. And then it will properly subtract that stuff. So let's halt that and rebuild with our fix. Test it. Where's all the equipment? Come on. There are no swords in this wretched dungeon. There we go. Okay, so now we have 2 swords. Let's equip one. Oh, I still have my breakpoint, don't I? Okay. Let's keep going. Alright, so we've equipped that. Now I'm going to unequip. So we've got our modifier applied properly. Let's unequip. Breakpoint is still tripping. Okay, so that looked like it worked. Okay, so that seems to be right. So now if I drop this, that properly gets unequipped, and so my modifier goes down, and now when I add this, it should be back. Okay, so it looks like everything's correct now. Not sure why I missed that last time. With that, breakpoints. Okay. Chat's awfully quiet tonight. How's everyone doing? Alright. So we've got dropping items working. What else? Let me work my list here. Dropping the items. Okay, so we want to add weight carried information to the inventory overlay, as well as some basic instructions. So they have a clue as to what keys do what. Okay, let's do that. So back to our in-game screen. I think it would be helpful to have weight carried and stuff at the bottom of the inventory screen. So we render our list of carried items, and then we'll just say additional information, bottom. Sorry, string create. Weight carried. And then let's see, max. we'll have to calculate our weight carried, and then we have a max. Is that? Oh, I closed it. Max weight allowed. Item. Get weight carried is what we want. There it is. So that should be our weight string, and then we'll render that to the screen. Eight. And then we'll put it, so is it like 16 cells tall. Let's maybe put it like 15, 13, I don't know, let's see. And then message the, maybe like a blue, a darkish blue.
Hey, you!
3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then we want an instructional. Let's just say, let's see, what commands do we have here? Let's do space. Space to toggle equip. Console put string at. Instructions, and then we'll put it, I don't know, we'll have to see what it looks like. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Let's see how this looks. Get a couple items, and then share inventory view. Oh, what is that? That looks like crap. I think my instruction string looks like it's too long, so it's doing this weird wrapping thing. So I guess we need to put it on 2 lines. Also, this is much higher up than I expected. objects. Hold on. Those do we have here in this thing? I start at y index 4, so this is 4, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't seem like it's starting in the right y position. But let's break this up into 2 messages. So we'll do this. Let's move this down quite a bit. Let's do like 23 maybe, and 25. I feel like this is too much. That looks about right. But our bottom... It's interesting how it wraps. Alright, let's center weight carried. And let's maybe... space 2. Move those over a bit. This looks okay. Maybe a little bit over to the left, but just a little bit. 10. And then this needs to be over quite a bit, so not quite a bit, but one space. Okay, I think we're there. That looks reasonable. So let's see if our carrying logic is correct. Go pick this up. And then, yep, now we're carrying 4, max 20. And let's drop it. And there it goes down to 0. Perfect. Alright, our inventory view is, I'm gonna say, just about done. Looking pretty good. What else do I have on my list for tonight? Oh, have an escape. Key press escape on the overlay. Dismiss the overlay and not quit the game. Right now, escape will quit the game on any screen, and that's, I can imagine, would be very frustrating for the first person that tries to dismiss the inventory overlay and accidentally exits the game. So I think we're going to make sure that that's not the case. So Problem is, right now we have our global key presses. And our escape is a global key press right now. So let's figure out the best way to. Maybe. Trying to think of the best way to do this. Synthesize is a bit much. I like synthesizers, but there's like too much robot voices. Maybe if we return bool from handle event in game instead of having it return void, and the bool would be that the key code was handled. Alternatively, I can just push the escape handling, the escape key press down at each screen that handles it. Not sure really what's the best way to go. Because I'll have to... I think I'm just going to push the escape code down. Let's see if this will... I have to say I'm a little surprised that I have a global variable name. Oh, it's not. I don't think it's global. That could be a problem. I'm gonna need some kind of end game or signal quit gene. Well, maybe having a quit game. Having a quit game routine is not the worst thing in the world. So we'll do quit game. Or perhaps we would do that at the Okay. Get rid of this done. And then we can say while game is running. And we can get rid of this escape. Did I add that? Instead of saying done is true, we can say quit game. Except this is the only place we don't want to quit the game. Well, so... if we're showing the inventory view, then this should be the same as hide. So if the inventory view is not null, which means we're showing it, we want to hide it. Otherwise, if we're in our main game screen, then we want to quit the game. Quit the gym. Okay. Issues. We're dark somewhere else. 115. Oh. Game definition. Do I have quick game somewhere else? Let's see. Void quick game. Oh, yeah, I do need to forward declare it, so before I pull all this other crap in. If there's a better way to... Just thinking through some code organization things. Right now, to get things working, let's just do this. Don't like this. Alright, that'll build. Okay. So that'll build now. Let's test our quit. So now if I hit escape, it should still quit. Does. Good. Let's do that from our inventory screen. Now we should hit escape. Alright, it dismisses the screen. So now if I hit escape, it quits. Perfect. It's exactly the behavior we want. So the last thing we want to do is there's a couple other screens that we want escape to be a real quit on. So let's add that to their routines. That's the launch screen. In this case, we don't need to check if there's inventory view showing, because that's not going to be possible on the launch screen. So we'll just handle that. And then there's the end game screen as well. Let's get rid of this. So launch screen, quit, and then one more time from the end game screen. Let's get to the end game screen. We haven't seen that in a while. Come on, creatures, get me, get me, get me. Let's find some more beasties. See our health bar going down over here. Snake's gonna get us. Oh, come on. Snake couldn't finish off the kobold. Boom. Died. And escape. It's perfect. Okay. So that was, I think we can call the inventory screen basically done for now. Seems to have all the functionality that I'd like to see. Just check my list and make sure that there's one. I had a note to check and see if we inform the player when they're carrying too much stuff. That'll be in this item get. If they're carrying too much, yes, carrying too much already. Got it. Okay. So got our list of items on there. We show the weight carried versus the maximum weight we can carry, and then we've got equip and drop and toggle selection and all that good stuff. So I think we're pretty solid as far as the inventory goes. Let's go over to our little items in inventory. We've got figured out basic data structures for items. Yes. Make sure they can be easily extended in the future. Yeah, sure. Hard code an item or two, put them in the dungeon. Check, we did that. We got swords and shields. Build our data loader that will load item data from the file. Yep. We've got our items. I'll show you items config file, and a sword and a shield, and we've got our code that will load and parse this information and put those items in the world. And then we've got enhance the dungeon generator, randomly place appropriate items, and then we had, not in this list, but I guess maybe we could add it just to check it off, is do, let's see, inventory screen. And then equip items. So with all of that said and done, and put a big ol', we can mark that off. Items and inventory is done. So the next item in our list is this saving and restoring game state. So this is going to be a fairly meaty enhancement. I'd like to just talk about it a bit. I don't think I'm going to start coding it. I'd like to think about it a bit more. But basically we need to figure out what it is that we need to save. So we can look at our game. Our world state is kind of up at the top. Game state. We need to go through this list of all this in-memory data that we have when the game is going on, and we need to decide which information can be easily reproduced when the game starts up, and which information is not something that can be reproduced and needs to be persisted. So, for example, our player game object and all of our in-game objects and the various components, those cannot be simply recreated from scratch, with no prior information. The carried items list, that's something we're going to need to persist because it's not something that we can recreate from scratch. Something that can be recreated from scratch, our field of view map, that can be recomputed. Once we have our world state restored, we can run our FOV calculation. Same for our target map. The monster config and item config and level config, that can all be loaded from our config files. We don't need to save that to our save game file. And similarly, the max monsters, max items, those are all things that are computed from loading up the config files and parsing those, rather than driven by user affecting the game world. And then the message log, we will probably... I don't know that we're going to persist the message log right now, because we're not... I think we're only saving like the visible items. It's basically like a rolling log, so once something rolls off the top of the message log screen, it's gone. We're not retaining that, so I don't really see much point in saving that information to our persist file. We could certainly do that in the future. But yeah, we're going to need to figure out exactly what needs to be saved to our save game file, and then what we're going to need to do is write a serialized routine for the various objects that are going to be persisted to disk. I'm thinking right now we will, our save game file, for ease of debugging and testing, it will probably be a simple text file in the manner of our config files. So basically we'll persist everything to text and then write it out to a save game file. And then, of course, once we've written everything to disk, then we're going to need to write our load routines, which will read our save game file and parse it and load everything back up into a readable, workable world state from which we can resume the game. So, like I said, it's not a it's not super difficult, but it's not trivial, and it's a pretty sizable chunk of work. So I'm going to probably off stream. I'm going to think about it a bit more, and just really make sure that we've got the right strategy going forward before I start diving in on stream and doing the heavy lifting of persistence. So I think I'm going to call it an evening. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and if you want to catch previous streams, I've got everything archived up on YouTube. I live on Twitter at PDCodes if you have any questions or comments, and all of the source code for this project is available on GitHub, so if you want to check it out and play with it at home, you can go ahead and do that. Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure, if you want to get notified the next time I go live, which will probably be maybe tomorrow evening or the evening after that. I'm going to try and stream several evenings a week, and then maybe once or twice on the weekends as time permits. But if you hit that follow button, you'll get those stream notifications. So, plus I would appreciate it because it helps my numbers. So it's all about the stats. So thanks again everyone for watching.